Afternoon, guys. We will start with the broadcast section with no embargo, followed by the embargoed section for 10:30 p.m. tonight. No live tweeting during the broadcast section, please, and use the microphone provided. Michael.
How you doing, Andrew? Right?
Good, Mark. Yeah.
Just get the team news pretty positive, isn't it?
So I guess internationals all came back okay. Biss is the only one that's obviously got an issue. It's not serious, but he's getting treatment today. We'll see if he can train tomorrow and make a decision there. Out of the other guys, Mickey van der Ven's all good. He's trained pretty fully through the international break, and Dom, back half of this week, sort of joined with the first team, trained today. So again, we've got training tomorrow. If they get through all right, I guess we'll be available. Richie, Will Lancashire are the only two that other two that are in rehab.
You addressed it earlier in the summer, but Rodrigo Bentancur has now been charged by the FA. Potential hefty ban. Can I just get your reaction to the charge, please?
Yeah, not I guess unexpected from our perspective. We kind of knew that it's something that the league would look at, and it's kind of we need to let the process sort of play out now. And Rodrigo's well aware of the ramifications of any outcome from the panel, but we'll just wait and see what they come out with.
Special game Sunday. I was listening to you a few weeks ago talking about potential new cycles here, and Mikel Arteta probably went through a similar one. Do you see similarities with what he's building there to what you're trying to do at Tottenham Hotspur?
It's hard to say because I guess every sort of situation is kind of unique in itself because they're different clubs and I guess different different environments. But I've said before, there's obviously a way to sort of build a team and a club and sort of go in a certain direction, and that always for the most part takes time. It's about finding the right people in the key positions, and all those things are club decisions, and as you go along I guess clubs decide whether they want to continue down that road or not. The results aren't always there immediately, which is not surprising in this league, but I think for the most part, clubs that have sort of stuck to a certain direction because they believe they're heading in the right way, eventually sort of get to a place where their team is competitive for a sustained period of time.
They're considered Manchester City's main title challengers, but I know you're ultra ambitious as well, and there's a lot of between the clubs, who finishes above who. Do you think this current squad you've got now is capable of challenging Arsenal this season?
Well, not specifically Arsenal, but we want to be a club that can challenge everyone. So, that's what we're trying to aim to become. And to do that, you've got to perform at a certain level on a consistent basis. You've got to have a squad strong enough to do that, to withstand the challenges that inevitably come during the course of a season. But we've started the season fairly solidly from a performance perspective. Obviously, the results haven't reflected that, but I think we're in a good place to really, push on from last year and improve in all areas of our game. And if we do that, I mean, we got close to challenging last year. There's no reason why we can't this year.
That's good.
Thanks, mate.
Alex.
Ange,
Hey.
after what you've experienced in this huge fixture so far in your time here, how would you try and sum up the rivalry in North London?
I guess everyone, every sort of derby involved is a bit different. Obviously, this one, you can tell that it's fairly intense between the two clubs. Obviously, geographically, sort of situated in the same part of town. They're trying to defend the same turf, and there's always a little bit of an edge. I thought both games last year were, very entertaining. Thought we played well at their place and really matched it with them, and could have even won on the day. Here, we kind of at our place, we got blown away in the first half. Sort of tried to make game of it in the second half. So plenty of goals and exciting, and we know what it means to our supporters and what it means to the club. But like I said, for us, what's really important is we've got to go out there and perform. We've got to play our football, play well, because irrespective of the rivalry, they're a top side, so you need to do that.
What kind of impact could a win have on the rest of Tottenham's season?
Look, hard to say. I've never felt like there's an easy way to success. I don't think one thing determines, or can change a trajectory to a great effect, but it helps because it's not just a win in a big game, in a derby, but it's a win against one of the top sides. So, that gives you, I guess, more belief and confidence, and potentially that could sort of, inject some real momentum into our season. But, I've never been one to think that, just a win on the weekend is enough for us to say that, we're on the right course, and alternatively, if things don't go our way, that somehow we need to, change course.
They will be without some big players, but what is it about this Arsenal side that makes them so hard to play against?
Yeah, I think consistency in approach and mentality. I think you've seen them in the last 2 years, in particular, that they've just had a real relentlessness about them. They haven't had to change their team too much. They've been, there's a solid core there that have sort of carried them through the last 2 years, and I think that gives you belief over time. So I think in every game they feel like they can win. I think they have this confidence in themselves now that they can challenge over a course of a Premier League season, which, I think that more than anything else, allows you to kind of build momentum season to season when you can do it over a whole course of a season. They have the last 2 years. Their form over the last 2 years in totality has been outstanding. So, they're going to be a tough nut to crack, but a great opportunity for us to do that. Thank you.
Ange, how are you?
I'm good, mate.
Be it in Scotland when you were involved in the big derby up there, or this derby here, how do you manage the expectations of the fans while wanting to tell them, yeah, we're going to go out there and on the front foot and we want to win this game and do this, that, and the other? But how do you also, in a derby match, have to manage the expectations, or don't you?
Well, I don't think I ever have, and I'd hate to think that, I went into any game trying to kind of get people to manage expectations, because ultimately, what's the point of doing what we do? You go into every game hoping to conquer and win and play well and do all the things that we love about the game. So, I don't think you should walk into a stadium, fearing anything or having trepidation about anything, or, scared to dream or hope that, you can be successful. So I certainly I've never done that in the past, and I wouldn't do that because it's not the way I kind of coach or live my life. It's not the mindset I have. I think every game you have is an opportunity to do something special, and that's the way you should approach it.
These are special games. It's come very early in the season. That's not down to you, it's down to the fixture computer. But in a way, would you prefer to be more up and running and have maybe 10, 15 games behind you before the first of these derby matches?
No, not really. I think if you're not ready, I mean, the league started, it's you don't start a race and then think you're going to start sprinting after 10 metres. You've got to go from the start, mate. You've got to be ready. And we were ready at the start of the season, and whenever the games come along, and you've got to be ready for it. So we're 3 games into a season. Obviously, the international break kind of puts a pause on things, but no, whenever it comes, we need to be ready, and we will be.
Final one on Bentancur, if I may. Firstly, how are things in the dressing room between him and Heung-min Son? And secondly, how do you tell footballers that, in the real world you can't behave like this, and therefore you have to, your behaviour, your discipline within, while you're wearing the club badge or even while you're under the employment of the club, has to be absolutely top notch? Because we saw how upset and angry you were a couple of weeks ago with Djed Spence.
In terms of Sonny and Rodri, I think they had their kind of discussion about the whole incident. I think both players understand and respect each other's position, and Rodri's already apologised for what he said, and Sonny has accepted that and accepted the fact that one of his teammates and a person he's close to has made a mistake. Beyond that, I mean, I don't know what you mean by the real world. We all live in the same world. Whether you're a footballer or you're anyone down the street, we all live in the same world, and we all kind of understand, the ramifications of our actions, irrespective of who we represent. Ultimately, we represent ourselves as people, and you try and along the way, as human beings, we try and do the right thing all the time, but it doesn't always happen. We all make mistakes, and I've said before that, for me, it's not just about punishment. It's the opportunity to, for people to atone, to learn. Because if we're talking about having a society that's kind of understanding and tolerant of everything, we also must show that to people who make mistakes, as Rodri has made this in his time. We kind of know him very well, a lot better than most, because we spend every day with him and we understand the kind of person he is, and we understand that even though he's a great guy and a fantastic teammate, he's made a big error this time, and he's got to take the punishment, but also we need to make sure that we give him the opportunity to atone for it and learn from it, and hopefully others learn from it as well.
Okay, we'll finish this section with George, please.
Hi, Ange. You've had 3 good performances this season, but the results haven't always married up. I mean, how kind of close do you feel like the team are to clicking and, I guess, putting in a real 90-minute performance consistently?
Yeah, look, it's hard to say, but I just feel, I've always felt that if you're consistent in those, sort of underlying things we're looking for in our game, that the results, do come sooner rather than later, and we just got to stay really disciplined and consistent in our approach from our football, because I think our football has been really good in all 3 games. We've dominated all 3 games. We've limited the opposition to very little and created a lot for ourselves. We've played in the manner we've wanted to, but the results haven't come. But if we maintain that over 38 games, I think we'll be in a really good position. But it doesn't guarantee it. You can't just sort of expect it to happen or try and pick a moment when it's going to happen. You've just got to keep at it. Like I said, stay really focused on the important elements of our game, and the results will follow.
And it feels like a while ago now, but you had to select the Europa League squad, the 23-man squad. Djed Spence was left out. I mean, how difficult a decision was that, and how has he kind of taken that news?
Yeah, look, I'm disappointed Ali's not here because this was his baby. But yeah, look, it was always going to be a difficult decision, obviously, with the makeup of our squad currently and kind of the lack of sort of club-trained players. We're always going to have to leave somebody out. And Djed was the unfortunate one. But at the same time, Djed's already played in the Premier League, and if you asked him at the start of the year where he sees himself, I think the fact that he's part of our squad and will obviously play a huge part in our year because he has already. I don't think he should take too much disappointment. Obviously, everyone wants to play, but in the end, it was about team balance for us, and we just feel that with the squad we've got, we've got some cover on the right side. We've got some players who can cover on the left side. So. I always tend to go for more attacking players in those kind of scenarios. And so Djed misses out. But as I said, he's already played in a couple of games in the Premier League. There'll be plenty of football for him if he keeps going like he is.
Yeah, and just with this rivalry, obviously you've experienced the 2 matches last year. I kind of wondered, did you learn more in those 2 matches, or maybe more in that Man City game back in May, when obviously there was conflicting emotions with the fan base?
No, look, I don't think I learnt anything that I didn't already know. I understand the rivalry. I understand, the passion that exists to, in terms of these games. I totally understand that. The Man City game, I love to win, mate. That's never going to change with me. I don't care who I'm representing. I will never go into a game not wanting to win. I'm just not built that way, and I don't care if that's at odds with other people. I understand that. I respect that, but they need to respect me as well, that I will try and win every game I play.
Okay, we'll end the broadcast section there and move on to the embargoed section for 10:30 p.m. tonight. Tom?
Ange, just on Sumo.